what is the future for AI?
That's very exciting.
Or is AI the future? So now explain AI, machine learning, generative AI, and ChatGPT. So people were asking that Netflix, right? Yeah. Based on the analogy that you gave with Zoe, your daughter. Now let's come to another example, which is Netflix. Hello everyone and welcome to Tech and Beyond with Yemi. I have a very good friend of mine. But before I start, I know everybody is wondering AI, but let me introduce you to this person. Then we'll delve into AI. He's a very good friend, like I said. He started from the University of Lagos, engineering, electrical engineering, first class, also best graduate student. Then he moved to the UK. He didn't jackpot, he just moved to the UK for masters and masters in engineering as well, in telecommunications. He came out with extensions. Some people too also like learning. So they went further to do their PhD from the University College London. Not only that, he is also, or once, a sessional professor from the Memorial University in Canada. So we call him Prof. That's what everybody in the house calls him, Prof. So Prof, welcome to this amazing place called Tech and Beyond with Yomi, where what we're trying to do is to make sure that we break down tech in a way that everyone will understand, where you don't have to be in tech to understand tech.
Makes sense.
So I'm just going to shoot the gun right now. There's this buzzwords that everyone has been talking about. I know it's been 2 years now. And I'd like for you to explain in a way that someone who is, non-tech, doesn't really understand this concept will be able to get it. What exactly is AI?
AI. Buzzword. What does it mean exactly? I'll just break it down, like you said, in a very, very simple manner. Artificial intelligence. That's what AI means. As we human beings have our natural God-given intelligence, AI is just programming or designing machines or computers so that they can think or learn in a manner that's similar to human beings. Remember I said similar.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that machines have brains or emotions. So how does this work really? In any sense, it works by, machines learn by something called training. Essentially, you feed them a large amount of text. Over time, they tend to understand the relationship between words. I use a simple analogy. My daughter, I have a daughter, Zoe, she's 3 years old. I'm teaching her how to recognize fruits, How do I do this? I bring pictures of apples. Over time, I say, Zoe, this is an apple. Another picture of another kind of apple. This is an apple. I give her so many pictures. Over time, she understands. She has learned what an apple looks like.
So when they say like they're training a model, that's exactly what they're saying. Okay.
Just giving the model large amounts of data. Over time, it understands patterns. Exactly what artificial intelligence is all about.
So literally it's going to understand from the analogy that you gave with your lovely daughter. It's going to understand that Zoe is always asking for pineapple, right?
Yeah.
So let's say if you now add another type of fruit, then you're adding more information to it.
I like what you just said. So that phase I mentioned before was called the learning phase.
The learning phase, okay.
The second phase, is something called the decision-making phase, where after Zoe has learned what an apple or a pineapple looks like, I can give her another kind of fruit that looks like an apple, and she can guess, okay, this is a fruit. Another kind of fruit, she may say it's an apple too, then I correct her. I say, this is not an apple, this is actually a banana. So she takes that feedback. Over time, she can refine her guesses. Now she can recognize two kinds of fruits. This is the way machines learn. Large amounts of data. Over time, they learn a particular set. Based on feedback, they can now improve their vocabulary or their library of words, if that makes any sense.
Oh, okay. So based on that continuous request that they're getting.
Exactly.
What about if they don't have that exact information?
Fabulous.
That fruit.
That is a very, very good
fruit
question.
that we've been giving Zoe. They don't have that particular type. Let's say cashew.
That's a very, very good question. You see, in the initial days when I say AI, I'm just going to kind of narrow it down to something like ChatGPT, for instance.
Okay.
They had limited amount of information. I say limited. I mean, it was thousands of bytes of data. But like you said, there's a limit to how much they know.
Okay.
Back then, machines there's something they call hallucination. What does that mean exactly? The machine does not know what you're asking for exactly. But because it's very good at mimicking human conversation, it's like you have a friend, who pretends to know it all. You ask him a question, instead you say, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
He just starts to spin a detail of go around in circles, does not answer the question, does not even attack the point in question, but just says words to just fill up the space.
That's because he doesn't have that knowledge or data within him at that time.
So back then, artificial intelligence models, they used to kind of give random information confidently.
Okay.
That was not accurate. But now over time, they've been working behind the scenes to kind of limit that kind of behavior. So right now, if you pass it across, like asking something he does not know, outside the training information, they tell you, I'm sorry. It tells you that, I'm sorry, I cannot answer this question confidently because I'm still learning. I mean, an artificial intelligence model that is still learning. Yeah.
Well, you've seen it here. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering that this AI thing, what exactly is this? Now, I hope we've broken it down in a way that you understand. Don't forget to subscribe in this lovely channel. There's still more coming. Prof.
Yes, sir.
With the explanations and the analogy that you gave, and I'm sorry, I'll still have to reference your lovely daughter's analogy because it makes more sense, right?
Yes. Yes.
Should this AI be trusted? And also, can it make mistakes?
Very, very good question. I love those questions. They're very, very apt. So, can AI be trusted? I'll say yes and no. Let me explain further about what I mean. Back when in high school, when we were learning computers, there's an acronym GIG or GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. Just means that if you feed in a computer garbage, it gives you garbage. So if I translate that kind of analogy to artificial intelligence models, essentially the machine is only as good as the training data is.
The training data or the trainer or the person feeding the
exactly. Both. So if you have a trainer, who is feeding it biased data that is inaccurate. For instance, if I say, okay, machine, the current president of the United States is George Bush, and I feed it in, the machine accepts that as valid fact. So if you go ahead later on and ask, hey, AI model, who is the current president of the United States? It will confidently tell you George Bush. Because the data you've trained it with is inaccurate.
Okay.
That's one part. Number two part, sometimes, there's something we call biased AI. Essentially, the data has been people have biases, you understand? So sometimes that bias can kind of leak into the way they train the model. There have been instances in the past where an AI model that has been in employment, trying to get a stable candidate, favors male candidates over female candidates. Just because historically, the training information it has kind of tilts towards the male gender, as opposed to the female.
Oh, like even just I read somewhere, I was listening to one podcast, this AI with interviews, like for interviews.
Yeah.
They kind of found out that the AI kind of syncs with people whose names start with John Doe.
Just imagine.
And it was now biased with with the female part. And also to when people put hobbies in these resumes, it favors those who are playing basketball or all those like energetic sports, and now and it's biased to the female parts, like maybe softball, which they have to now. So hence the bias that you're talking about, right? Okay.
Exactly. So following up on the bias, to address these issues, there's a lot of work in the background to kind of have standards that actually emphasize fairness, things like reliability, transparency when it comes to AI making decisions, You want to make it sure that you're not discriminating against anybody. Let me also ask a second question, like what happens when an AI makes a mistake? Yeah. So it all depends on the kind of system the AI is operating in. If a situation like, for instance, like Alexa, for instance, that's an AI model. For instance. If I say, it happens to me in the past a lot of times, I say, Alexa, play this song, so and so song. Alexa does not know the song, does not have that song in his own database. Library. Instead of Alexa will say, okay, I don't know the song. He plays me another random song. Entirely random song. That's on one side, very, very casual, no big repercussions. Then on the other side, you have things like maybe self-driving cars where, for instance, any mistake can be catastrophic in that sense. That's why AI models are at the point where They are good, but they're not perfect. You still need like a human being somewhere behind the scenes that takes in the errors, feeds it back,
and now
retrains the model so it doesn't make the same mistake. So it's an iterative process. When I say iterative, I mean it's a lot of feedback. Feedback, okay, this is where you made a mistake, let's correct this mistake. It goes back over and over
again. Yeah. Thank you. That's a very good one. That's a very good one. But still on this AI, now people are worried in terms of jobs. So I want you to try to break down, will AI take our jobs? Because we are seeing in a place where it's more like the organization wants us to work in a way that's more like a robot. Are they trying to turn us into a robot because of the efficiency that they want? So a little bit, people are really scared, and some people are also paranoid. And there's also a myth and superstition that is going around this AI. Will AI take our jobs?
That's a very valid question, and I think we're addressing the elephant in the room because, honestly speaking, before I had some sort of worry when it came to AI and jobs. But when I delved more into this exciting field, I came to realize like there is a chance that AI can replace, I won't say jobs, but tasks in a job. Let me give you an analogy. At my workplace, I have a guy, a colleague of mine. He's very good at organizing. He's so good, much better than I am, So most times, anything that has to be organizing things like schedules, he's the go-to guy. But that does not mean that my job is at risk because he's better at that task than I am.
Okay.
When you look at the overall picture, I have many other things. I let him do his
organizing part.
Exactly. Then I use that. I don't waste time on that, and it increases my productivity. So how can we translate that? Why it's good to have fear like AI will take over some certain tasks? When I say task, I mean tasks that are kind of repetitive. Tasks that are, routine. For instance, maybe entering data on a keypad. Machines, they're very good at that because they don't get tired, obviously. They don't need coffee breaks or toilet breaks or anything like that, like we humans do. So instead of we being worried about that, I think it's fair play to allow machines take over those repetitive tasks and actually upskill and learn more. How can we use AI as a tool to facilitate our productivity at work?
So the question I'm asking too is going to be like also based on question that I'm also getting from friends too as well.
Okay, sure.
Because I feel like personally, in that case, they are going to, it's more like they're training the human beings when we're using those tools to act a certain way because they're different people with different emotions.
Of course.
Some people are daytime people. Some people, they prefer to work. If you give them a task within 5 seconds, they're done. While there are some, it's more like it takes time for them to understand it. And, at that point, so they have to, but they'll still produce a very good outcome. Some people also too might work late all till the morning just to make sure that they get that task. And that's the time that works for them. So in terms of behaviors too as well, don't you feel like with all these tools, fine, it's going to help us in terms of productivity. But this time around, it's more like creating a robot, each and every individual, a robotic kind of uniform. Everybody will now be uniform.
That's a very good perspective. Honestly, I'll say people will invariably be different. And I think having AI should not change the fact that we're different. The way I look at this is, and I'll answer your question in detail, is whenever a new technology wave comes, there's always this fear, nevertheless, that this will happen and it will change dramatically the way we work. But as we've seen from experience, people, we go through that phase and we end up coming out using those tools and becoming better and efficient worker. I'll give you a typical example. Back in high school, when you were struggling with physics or math and, doing long calculations with
Laplace transform.
All those funny things, Then, when calculators became mainstream, you find out that why you're an intelligent guy, yeah? You can do long division, multiplication. It will take a longer time. But imagine you having an exam where you're allowed to use a calculator. You would not spend that much time on sums that are not the big picture, but you need it. So calculator was a tool to enable you to improve productivity. In similar way as well, when internet became global, people were worried about that. Nowadays, it's commonplace. Search engines.
Yeah.
You understand? They facilitated your productivity.
Exactly.
So all I'm saying in effect is, instead of we being worried or scared, I think we individually look at how can I use, with my own working style, use AI to boost my productivity. Does not necessarily mean I have to be robotic or be like my next colleague. How can I make it work for me in a way that I'm not slowing down my style but I'm productive?
Okay, like just understand the tool.
See
how best it suits
tweak it to suit your own style, which is what I do at work.
Oh, Beautiful. Thank you. That was a very good one. But still on this AI, it's actually a very, very broad topic, right? Which will bring me to one other question that a lot of people have been asking. Sorry, I'm just checking my phone. I wrote a lot of questions to ask.
All good.
So I want to be sure that I give the right questions. I did, some people were asking that Netflix, right? Yeah. Based on the analogy that you gave with Zoe, your daughter. Now let's come to another example, which is Netflix. How does he understand the genre of movie that we watch based on what you've explained? So now people now get a good feel of AI.
I like the fact that you mentioned Netflix. And as an aside, I've been watching Netflix for the past every night before I go to bed now. So they become a habit, which is not a bad one. So I wonder, before I go into this field, I usually wonder, how does Netflix know what I want to watch? Even before even me, I know I want to watch it. It's like Netflix knows me more than my mother itself. So how does this work? In any sense, it's just an artificial intelligence model. It is complex, but it's an artificial intelligence model that makes use of something called an algorithm. I'm not going to go into any depth, but an algorithm is just a lot of mathematical systems that govern how the model will operate and make decisions. So how does Netflix operate? It uses two things. Netflix, I use the analogy of a friend, who is very good into movies. He knows the kind of movies you like. He knows the kind of movies that are, popular and in demand now. So when I call, Yomi, I need to watch, maybe a nice sci-fi movie or romantic comedy. Yomi is well versed in kind of movies I like, I know the kind of movies that his other friends like too as well. He can now suggest a movie to me based on the fact that his other friends like this kind of movie, and he knows the kind of movie that I like. Exactly how Netflix operates. It uses the fact that based on your viewing preference, when you watch a movie and you click, I like this. Netflix does this. They uses that information for future recommendations. A month ago, Yomi said he liked Breaking Bad. You know what? I'll suggest another similar series
for him,
in case he asks me. He uses that. Then just wonder, what if I joined Netflix newly? I don't have any history. What is it then? Netflix makes an assumption based on people that in the past have started off Netflix. How did they go and check the territory? So it suggests you a particular path. Okay, maybe this guy would like romantic comedies. Let me try. Would you like something like this? Or remember, when you first sign into Netflix, it says pick 5 movies that you like. Why is he asking you that? He must have an idea.
Now train
exactly.
So,
so it kind of, instead of you having a broad suggestion, okay, this guy likes action movies, you kind of streamline it. Okay. Then he suggests a couple of them to you. If you pick one that you like, it stores this, something called content-based filtering. That's a very technical term, but that's exactly what it does. It stores this in the background. Then once you say you like the movie, it uses that as feedback to kind of suggest more movies that you may like.
Oh, wow.
That's how Netflix works. So essentially, at the back, it's just an artificial intelligence model. Very, 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 very clever.
Thank you for that, Gwen. So now, if you're worried, or what is this whole AI thing, or what is this whole ChatGPT thing, just understand that this is the concept of AI itself.
Exactly.
So just to go a little bit technical.
All right, sir.
So there's AI, there's machine learning, there's generative AI.
Yes, sir.
And there's ChatGPT. I purposely added ChatGPT because a lot of people think that ChatGPT is
AI. When you say AI, first that comes to people's mind is ChatGPT.
So now explain AI, machine learning, generative AI, and ChatGPT.
Okay, fabulous. I love the question. I think when we're done with this answer, I think give people a more running information of what artificial intelligence is all about. So AI is like the broad umbrella, the broad term. Machines having intelligence. That's what AI is all about. But it's such a broad descriptive term, Inside AI, there are different subdivisions.
Okay.
One of the most important ones is machine learning. Very, very simple. How does the machine learn?
Okay.
It learns without it being explicitly programmed. It learns by itself. And there are various ways the machine can learn. There are 3 broad ways it can learn. You can either supervise it, like, when Zoe was learning how to ride the bike.
Yeah. I
was supervising her, if she's leaning more to the right, I'll pull her back.
Yeah.
So I give her feedback. Eventually she learns, okay, I should not lean too much on this side. I should maintain my balance. I should pedal this way. She has learned by herself how to ride the bike. That's supervised learning. There's another one called unsupervised learning, where you are there, but you're not like a teacher. You're like, I say, Zoe, I have this box of Lego bricks. Let's play with it. I watched her. It's like she arranges these bricks in different styles. Maybe she arranges by shape or by color. That is, she's learning by herself to find patterns in this whole mess.
Yeah.
This is something called unsupervised learning. It's used in maybe in healthcare for knowing whether a patient has a tumor, for instance.
Okay.
So there's another one called learning by trial and error. Reinforcement learning.
Oh, it's not good though, but
exactly. It's just like when you're training your dog to fetch a stick.
Okay, yeah.
So you throw a stick, you say fetch, maybe it doesn't do anything. But the moment it fetches, you give it a treat. Over time, the dog will learn that, if I get this thing, I get a nice treat.
Yeah.
So you're reinforcing, like, you do this thing this way. This is what is used in self-driving cars like Tesla. So machine learning is one of the most important subdivisions of artificial intelligence itself. This is the vehicle that propels the whole artificial intelligence that makes it do what it can do. The brains behind the whole AI term.
Okay.
Then you now mentioned
generative
AI. Okay. There's another branch of artificial intelligence called natural language processing. What I like about AI terms is the acronyms, they are just descriptive. It's exactly what it means. So we're processing natural language. Essentially, a machine is learning to communicate using human words. English,
okay.
ChatGPT is a very big example of it. It's communicating with you as if you're talking to your friend or your brother who is very knowledgeable. So that's another branch of artificial intelligence. It's called natural language processing. So you also mentioned generative AI. It's also linked to natural language processing. Generative part means the AI model is generating content based on what you're feeding it.
Yeah.
So that reminds me of, what does GPT even stand for in ChatGPT? G, generative. P, pre-trained. T, transformer. Generative means it's generating new content based on your input. Generative transformer. Pre-trained transformer. Pre-trained means, like I said before, it's been trained on large amounts of text previously. It's not doing it on the fly.
Yes,
you understand? So it's been pre-trained on like a dictionary of words. Then transformer is just a model, it's an architecture model that enables the AI model to be able to get relationship between words. So when you feed in something to ChatGPT, like, show me the best restaurant in Ottawa, it takes in that input, breaks it down into several chunks, small pieces. Then the architectural model that it has, it tries to find relationship between these words to find if there's any contextual link to know what you are saying. Because it's not really understand what you are saying, but it's trying to understand what you want. So it does that because it's been pre-trained on a large amount of data. Maybe somewhere on the Wikipedia page, someone has said, what do you want? And there was a response, maybe like a story, I want some food. So it uses that pre-trained history to kind of guess, this is what this guy is saying, this is what these words mean, and gives you a response based on what is guessed as the link between the words. That's exactly what it does. So GPT, for viewers out there, generative, pre-trained, transformer. If you don't get anything from today, just get what that
generative, pre-trained, transformer.
GPT.
Final question.
Yes, sir.
What is the future for AI?
That's very exciting.
Or is AI the future? No, AI is the future, but what will be the future after AI?
I think we can only watch with excitement because the way AI, the trajectory is just ridiculous. People are coming up with creative ideas. I think a few years ago, the concept of, for instance, self-driving cars was something that was just still in the drawing books, it was just an idea that was not fully conceptualized, Now we have fully functional self-driving cars. I experienced one like a few weeks back with a very well-to-do friend of mine, So we drove for over 30 minutes on complete autopilot, if I can call it that. Fully self-driving. You put in destination. And this car is such a smart machine. Machine learning is just in the core of it all. It's making decisions, looking at objects in distance, gauging their distances from the car in front of it, sensors everywhere, object image detection, it's taking all these inputs, and controlling the speed, is braking when it needs to be. And the best part, when we got to the destination, this car parked itself. I'm not just talking, it cut, did it reverse, adjusted itself, and aligned perfectly in between the lines. If this is possible now, and the recurrent rate of, because technology, competition breeds innovation, And there are a lot of firms that are competing. Microsoft, you got Facebook, you got
Google,
we got all of them competing, it just creates innovation. It's exciting to see what the future of AI will be. I think next couple of years, self-driving taxis will be the norm, for instance. I think it's a very exciting time to be in.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just so you know, if you have anyone there, you have your Tesla, your Cybertruck. Maybe my next interview is going to be inside that Tesla, whilst it's just self-driving us or self-driving me to, whatever location we'll see. It should be a very good destination.
Yes.
So just reach out to me too as well. Thank you so much for coming.
It's been my pleasure.
I'm going to make sure that if you have questions, so feel free to post on the comments. I would definitely answer them. And if I don't, I'm going to compile them and also bring him back to explain more concept on this. Yep. I really do appreciate this, Prof. And also just to let you know, he's also my guy.
Always.
Thank
My
you
pleasure.
So much. I appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you.